Hello and welcome guys to another episode of Dingus Hammer. So today we're gonna have a battle between Beast Hearts and Warriors of the Dark Gods. So starting with the Beast Hearts, we got Ryan playing with Soothsayer Master on Shamanism, Light Armor with Trickster Cunning, Ancestral Carvings, Dark Rain. He got the Beast Lord, who's a general with a Hunting Call. Shield Heavy Armored with Basalt Infusion, Beast Axe, Fatal Folly, Seed of the Dark Forest, and Talisman of Shielding. Then a Chieftain, Beast Chieftain with Greater Totem Bearer, BSB with double Aether icon, Light Armor, and Destiny Call on it, and a Great Weapon. Then 3 Raiding Chariots, 2 units of 19 Wild Horns with Pair Weapons, Throwing Weapons, Ambush, and Musician. 8 Feral Hounds, 35 Longhorn Herd with great weapons, Aether Icon, Musician, Champion, Totem Bearer, Blooded Horn Totem. 2 units of 3 Minotaurs with great weapon, Champion, Musician, and 2 units of Gargoyles, Gortouch, and Jabberwock. Then there is my list, warriors with Feldrake's Ancestor, Pair Weapons, and Symbol of Slaughter. Chosen Lord, who's a general on the Blacksteed, Trophy Rack, Shield, Hand Weapon with Burning Portent, Talisman of Shielding, Virstone, Gluttony, Luck of the Dark Gods, and Wizard Master Evocation, Light Armor, Magical Heirloom. Actually, he has Pair Weapons also. So it's 95 points over here. 11 warriors, last full command, 9 barb horsemen with shields, full command, and manner of speed. 2 units of warhounds, 5 feldraks with halberd, with full command and the banner of discipline. Feldrak elder with pair weapons. 7 knights with full command, icon of the infinite, and greed. So pair weapon, halberd, and great weapon. I did not buy them extra lances. So those are our lists, and we got for the deployment, Dawn Assault, and Capture the Flags. So this is more or less how the battlefield looks. It cut off on the side, so we're gonna go one by one through the units. So on the right we got Jabberwock, Gortouch. Then we got the unit of Minotaurs, behind them Gargoyles. Then unit of War of the Hounds, right? I believe those are, yes, 8 Feral Hounds. Then the big unit of Longhorns with the great weapons. There is his general. There is in this unit there is also his shaman wizard. Then a unit of what does he have? Raiding chariots, another dart of minotaurs, gargoyles, and since we're playing also. We're prepping for the Mayhem, not Mayhem in the Mountains, the Bighorn GT. So we got also a Bighorn. Is pretty much a model that you're gonna get when you're gonna attend our tournament in June. June 4th and 5th. If you haven't signed up, there is plenty of spaces still to sign. So when you come in, you're gonna get the model, and those are the stats for the model. So basically, it has 3 impact hits, 1 stomp. It has 5 strength 5 attacks at agility 4, armor save 4 up, and for charge, advanced moves, and march moves, it basically behaves like a flying unit. So here it is. That's a Bighorn. So he put his Bighorn right over here as a cool model that he 3D prints for everybody who's going to be attending. And now my deployment. There is a Feldrak, the Mama Feldrak, so the Elder, Warrior Knights, the champion is on the left over here. The hounds warhounds unit of warriors with wizard. Come on. Another unit of warhounds, barbs with the lord. Feldrax. Then there is my bighorn and the ancestor. So Ryan deployed first. He deployed all out to start, so he did his vanguards, and this is how he vanguarded. So this is his vanguard. And this picture is already taken after the first move. So he moved the ram for flanking movement. Move his minotaurs kind of cautiously. Move the gargoyles over here to kind of bait my charges. And he moved over here to secure me from flanking him. He moved his guys in the forest. He moved his cavalry in front of my bus in such a way that I couldn't actually wheel and charge anything over there, because this cav bus now have movement 9, so it's pretty scary. I guess that's a more panoramic view of the battlefield. Now he was trying to cast the Totemic summon, and I used all my dice to stop that, so he got Break the Spirit on the unit of Feldrax. And on my first turn, I pushed the. He also casted the. I'm not sure if he got any wounds. I don't think he got any wounds on. He was trying to cast also the Swarm of Insect on the Ancestor. I think he failed to cast that. Either he failed or he didn't do any wounds. So anyhow, it's inconsequential. So I released the Hounds, and I charged the unit of his Warhounds. I charged his Gargoyles. He stood for both charges. I flanked with the Ancestor. I was basically ready to take the charge from the Minotaur darts, because here's the thing that a lot of people forget with Minotaur darts. When you're charging and you have a champion, a character, which Ancestor is a character, has to hit the champion. So he doesn't even have to challenge. I cannot basically allocate any hits towards any other models in the unit besides the champion. But I can also use a breath weapon. So I can use a champion, but a breath weapon is used against a unit as per shooting. I thought that, well, if I can kill a champion in the combat, if I can kill a minotaur in the through the breath weapon, I think I can survive that. I think I can survive that fight. So if he charges and he pushes and I survive that fight, it opens the whole flank for me. Now I use my bighorn to look at this part of the terrain for his ambushers. I moved the cavalry a little bit to the right, pushed my wizard bunker a little bit forward to cast magic. On the left side, here is the charge from the Warhound. I shuffled the cavalry to have 18 inches to his Minotaurs. And I think also to the chariots. I'm not sure if I was. I think I was outside of 18 for the chariots. I'm not sure. And the Eldar is looking to the right to prevent him from ambushing anything behind my wizard bunker and those units over there. It would just be pretty annoying if he did that. So here is the problem. The way that I deployed my Warhounds, I deployed them 2x4, and I charged. I had 2 attacks with extra strength, and I bounced. I basically did 2 wounds. He slaughtered most of my units. I panicked, fled. He restrained pursuing, and was able to pass that. So that's a sad panda moment, because now those gargoyles are going to be a pain in the ass. And in my magic, as you can see, oh my gosh, why is it? Let me. Okay. So in my magic, I was able to do 3 wounds over here to the Jabberwock, and I was able to do couple of the wounds to his there it is. Couple of wounds to his Gortach. And in the combat with his Warhounds, I flopped. Again, this time I was in 3 formation, so I had 6, 9 attacks at strength 4, and I did 2 wounds to him. And he retaliated by doing 1 wound to me. So I won the combat, but he was within the range of his general, a BSB, and he was also steadfast. So that was a sad panda moment that I wasn't able to break that unit. But I thought, well, it's alright, because the way that I reform, he was not, it blocked him from actually charging anything. So I was like, well, I'll win the combat probably next turn. And it's going to be even better because the footprint of the unit is going to be smaller. I'm going to be able to pivot and reform and do all kinds of stuff with that. So that was not as bad as failing to fight against the gargoyle. That's a weird picture over here. I don't know what I was trying to portray, but those are the 2 wounds on the Gortach and 3 wounds on the Jabberwock. So on his next turn, he ambushed both of the units. He tried to chuff my Ancestor and throw some throwing weapons at him. He's ambushed the second unit behind the Feldrex and threw his throwing weapons at them. It's important how he did that later on. He pushed the gargoyles to chuff my unit of Cav, pushed up his rear to prevent the counter charge on the Ancestor. At this point he's looking like, let's do another 1 or 2 wounds between the magic and the throwing weapons. And on the left side he chuffs my cavalry, pushes up everything else, pushing the ram outside of the line of sight, and this is where we are. So through his magic, he was trying again the same thing. He was trying to get his totemic summon. I need to be more careful about how I position my phone, not to be flipping those pictures around. But he was trying to cast a totemic summon. I stopped that. I mean, I'm already dealing with 2 units that are kind of behind me. I don't want to be dealing with a third one that's also a random mover. It's super annoying. And this is after, and then he casts Break the Spirit on the Feldrax, and he casted also a Swarm of Insect on the Ancestor, and was successful with that. In the combat though, I flop again. Actually, I flop even worse, because I kill only 2 of his Warhounds, and he kills 3 of mine, so there we are. And we stick again. And then he was able to put 1 wound on the Ancestor, I think over here, for his magic. So, my turn, right? I decided to charge the ambushers, and they actually, the Wildhorn failed the discipline check. I mean discipline 7, so they fled. I redirected the charge into the Minotaurs, and I redirected it in such a way that I would be overrunning into a flank of his Gortach. I charged the unit of his gargoyles with my whole barbarian block, and the thought behind it was because I charged also the warrior knights, the warriors into the Warhounds, that I will be able to overrun the warriors into the flank of his big block. I mean, I break his steadfast and all that. But also I can, if I win this combat, I can reform the unit in the line formation to chaff, just in case I'll fail that. So I was feeling pretty safe that my potent guy is gonna win the combat. He's gonna stick, restrain the pursue or overrun, and just gonna get extra strength on him. And I moved back on my left side. I also charged on the right side. I also charged there. Also my walls didn't rally. They failed the rally. They were outside of 12 inches, so they are off the board. I moved my Eldar on the other side to avoid being chuffed by this ram and be able to counter charge if he gets into my warrior knights, which backed off. And then I charge on the right side also with those with the bighorn into his ambushers, the 19 of what they're called warlords. Now, since I have Bright Spirit, I cannot march, charge, or do anything fancy, so I just move forward with my Feldrax. This spell is super annoying, and since I'm in the open terrain, I had a water in front, there is no way I'm going to be using them to charge anything, because I'll just take a buttload of DTs, just basically a bucket load of dice. So this is where we are. In my magic, I am able to get a reroll to hit and reroll to wound on the uh, ancestor. He tried to stop, but failed to stop the reroll to hit, I believe. And yeah, those were the two spells that I got off. This is left side. Oh, I also got a bounce spell then. I got a bounce spell on the Minotaurs and I did 2 wounds to them from the Warrior Knights. So, this is what happens in the combat. I flop again. I am unable to kill all the Warhounds, and he actually makes a Snake Eyes to stay. I think he needed something like a 4 or to stay, and he has a BSB. He fails his first one, rerolls with the other one, and this is a giant oh shit moment, because remember, those warriors, if they overrun and fail to get in the flank of these guys, they can flee. They have minimized rally later on, so they would flee over the warriors, over the barbs, and on the other side. This is very vexing moment. Those warhounds just should not be here. But alright, well, we have to deal with them being here. On the left side. Oh, that doesn't show the left side yet. So he lost the combat with gargoyles. He fled from a combat. I was able to restrain myself, and thankfully he goes only few inches, so he blocks his own charge. I'm like, oh, thank God, because now remember, if I kill this whole unit of gargoyles, he can charge and wipe them off, and I can try to flee, but I will be off the board. So this is how I reposition, and I was not careful enough repositioning them. This will come into play very soon. Now I killed with the ancestor. I wiped the floor with the Minotaurs, and he doesn't even take that many wounds. I think he has I think 1 more wound on him from them. So I was very lucky in how that combat went, and I overran into the flank of the Gortach. So this is the end of my turn, and things are not looking great. They're not looking terrible, not looking great. Oh, on the right side, I killed a bunch of his wild horns, and now he wanted to reform into the ranks, but the way that he came in on the board made it so that his other rank would be outside of the map, so he couldn't reform to add himself any ranks. So here we are. And that's the end of my turn. And in his turn, he looked at the way that the bighorn worked on him, and he was like, "Well, hell yeah, I like it. I'll do it the same against warrior knights." So he charged my warrior knights, right? His mentors were not able to see the warriors, so he charged them with the chariot. And this is what I have not seen. I have not anticipated. He charged the Jabberwock into a flank of barbarians, and he was able to barely fit it. I mean, he could fit it even farther over here because Jabberwocks apparently fly. And this is a oh shit, it's looking bad moment. He still has his little gargoyles, so he uses them. He's gonna be using them in a second to chaff. But I'm looking at it. I'm having a charge, flank, bunch of attacks, and brave weapon. Because why Jabberwocks shouldn't have a brave weapon? So this is how things looking up. Oh, he also passes Leadership 7 rally on those Wildhorns over here. So he rallies, reforms, and stays there. Like, oh, for fuck's sake, this is not looking good. And he rallies also, I believe, those gargoyles, because General and BSB are right over there. And he he reforms backs the Minotaurs, so chuffs the Bighorn because it's insignificant. So basically, he hopes for counter charges over here. And so in the magic, he again goes for the totemic summon. And I stopped that, and I don't remember what he was trying to cast next. So maybe it's gonna come back to me. But here we are. He kills in the combat. He kills the bighorn. Now he's on my. He's over here basically. I kill his bighorn though. Like it flopped. It did 0 to me. Absolutely nothing. He was have 3 impact hits with strength 5 against my toughness 4, and he rolls 1 to 2. And then in the attacks he doesn't do anything because I armor save and I kill him. Just flat out, great weapon, kill him. And oh, it doesn't show because I reformed. I reformed into a right because the distance that he left with his gargoyles, he didn't position them carefully enough. You can see that I'm marking the center for my unit. I pivoted the unit so that it could charge past the gargoyles. And then we go on the right side. And the Jabberwock wipes the whole unit of barbarians. Every single damn one of them. Alright? And this is after the agility of the Lord, so the Lord doesn't get to hit him. So here we are. He has a charge, flank, and 8 barbarians. Right? 2, 4, 6, 9 barbarians. Dead. Auto breaks me. Runs me down. He rolls 10 on his pursue, and my Lord is dead. Long live the not well repositioned Lord. Right? So this is why you need to be careful with when you're pivoting units afterwards. It's best to take your arc of sight and look at exactly who has a front, who has a flank on your units. So don't do like me at home. Here's the combat. I finally break the Warhounds. He flaps absolutely terribly with his impact hits and his attacks, and he kills only 1 warrior. So I'm able to actually win the combat. But he sticks. On the right side, I killed the the Godtouch, but in his movement phase, he repositioned his big unit, and I decide to stick like that, which was a mistake also. But we'll get to it. So here is the panoramic view of how things are shaping up for me. And they're not shaping up very well. So I see, you can't see over here, but those are the minotaurs, and my warriors are repositioned, warrior knights are repositioned to see the minotaurs and be able to charge past the gargoyles to make only 190-degree turn and get into the minotaurs. So this is what I do. I charge the minotaurs. I charge the wild horns because they're scoring, and I'm not really afraid of these guys behind me. So I don't. I pivoted the knight after the hounds after the fight, and I was like, well, your guys are gonna charge the gargoyles, and if you win the combat, which I hope you win, I mean you have a charge flank and hopefully a wound, right? I can put them in the Congo line to block the big unit, the Papa unit. So I charge the Minotaurs and I clear them. And I pivot. I also slaughter the hell out of the chariots. They flee. I believe I pursued them and failed to catch them. So I didn't. No, I didn't pursue because then I would block my warrior knights. So I restrained. I repositioned my Eldar to be looking over here for any movements past my line of sight, and also he can charge past the warriors over here, so he can do the sneaky kind of a charge over here. I repositioned my ancestor behind, and he charges. He charges flank. I failed the charge on the wild horns, so he decides to charge in the flank and charge in the rear. He backs off the wild horns over here. I win the combat with his gargoyles. They stick again. Because why shouldn't they? He gets out and shoves me, kind of wants to get into combat with his lord against the warriors. He rallies with the chariot and faces the ancestor. Now he gets Savage Fury and plus one attack, plus one AP from his Bloodhorns. He traps me, my warrior knights again. And this is where we are looking at the end of his turn. Basically, what happened over here is I slaughtered the Jabberwock. I mean, he's flying, so I have hatred and I have halberd, so he was like, well, that was dumb. And I win the combat with his wild horse, and he sticks again because why shouldn't he stick? So this is where we are, and on my turn, I get a very bright idea. So I'm missing the picture over here, but basically, since I can draw now. Let's see if I can do it now. I charged the rear, and I positioned my Eldar over here, and I charged the front, and I positioned my ancestor over here. I was like, well, I'll attack his, I'll challenge with the front guy, I'll do a bunch of wounds with the rear guy, and I'll win the challenge. He has the wizard over here, but I'm hitting him on twos or threes, and I wound him on fives because of the attribute. And I have Thunderstomp, and I was like, well, wounding him, nice strength 7 attacks. I'm wounding him on 5s, and then I Thunderstomp him, and I have a breath weapon. I should be able to win it, right? So let's get back to mouse, and let's clear. So I miscalculated. I forgot that you have to reroll successful to wound against the wizard. And he actually slaughters my other Eldar. And at this point I'm going, well, I just lost the game, right? Thankfully, my ancestor sticks. He has 3 wounds on him. I think I do a wound. I'm able to stick in there. I got my wizard outside. And he stopped the reroll to wound. So I got the reroll to hit. I think I put a lot of dice in the reroll to wound. He just put all of his dice. So I move my wizard out to cast also damage spells on his lord. Hopefully bait him to dispel those. Moved a little bit back with the warriors. Cleared the gargoyles, repositioned so that I'm able to charge his lord. Won the combat with the gargoyles, repositioned my warhounds, but at this point they're useless, and there are also 2 of them. And on the right side, I cleared the wild horns, which actually is pretty good because they're scoring. So hey, I got another scoring unit. Just took them a little bit longer than it should, but hey, I got them finally, right? Yay. And in the next combat, he kills my ancestor. Just even though I use a brave weapon and everything, I lose the combat, I flee, and in his magic phase, he gets the break the spirit, and I get away from him to stay on the map. He fails to catch it, but I fail DTs. So here is happy Ryan face. And I can't blame him for that. I'll be jumping up and down also if I would kill this guy. He's super annoying to deal with. He charges he charges chariot into my knights. I kill the chariot. He charges the warriors. And I don't think I even challenged him. I think I stood there. Or maybe I did challenge. No, I did challenge him. I did challenge him, and he actually failed to even kill the champion. He did 1 wound. He flapped. So this guy's not here. He's dead. I use the Feldrex to move forward just and so enough so that there will be no shenanigans with him getting away with the Wildhorns, and I chaff him with the hound so he couldn't reposition the unit to be facing this direction. Let's get the proper size, and I charge the flank of his general with Warrior Knights, as this is in the challenge. I charged also, I believe, with the wizard to be able to cast a hereditary spell into the combat. so I'll be able to do some damage. I am able to do some wounds from the magic. I do 2 wounds from the hereditary spell, but he survives the combat. He kills my champion. But I have a charge flank, 2 standards, and I'm able to. He loses the combat, fails the leadership. Finally, thank God, because his BSB is too far away, and I am able to. I pursue with everything. I mean, I have to get this guy, and I get him. He repositions to face forward, but that's the end of his turn, and this is my last turn. So, I didn't kill the gargoyles, I guess. They rally. And since it's Ryan rolling his leadership, he rallies on the snake guys. No problem. He kills with Swarm of Insect. That was a mistake that I made. He kills with Swarm of Insects also on his turn, actually. So I guess it wasn't his last turn. He was his last turn when he repositioned to face me. He kills the wizard and moves the Wildhorn back, but I'm charging, and I get in the combat with the Wild Horns, and I win the combat. I slaughter them a lot. They're steadfast 7. Did they stick? They did stick, didn't they? They stuck, and we've finished the game with 10-10. Actually, no, I think I caught them. I think I caught them, but Ryan, if you're watching it, write on the YouTube in the comment whether I killed this unit or I didn't kill this unit, because I don't remember. Seriously, the way the things were going, I can perfectly well see see you sticking on the 7 on the steadfast. So it was basically 10-10 in points. I got a secondary because I killed more of his scoring units, so I won 13-7. And the big mistake that I did was back over here. I should have not charged him. Since he's facing, I'm drawing all the attention over here. I could probably even charge the rear of his chariot, but that would be probably risky because of the flea. But basically, I could have just gone on the flank, not lose this guy, keep having them spin around like a shit in the toilet, and not lose, what is it, 800, 1300 points basically. That was a giant, dumb mistake. So I think if I would not have done that, I win something like 16-4 at this moment. I think that game was absolutely skewed from the very beginning. This thing, that was my mistake, another giant mistake of mine that ran perfectly well capitalized on leaving the flank of the barbs. That should not have happened like that. I probably should have charged the guy alone in the gargoyles, but then he flapped actually. He did 1 wound, so who knows if the gargoyles would not win the combat against him. And thus not having the luck with this potent guy. I mean, I'm still waiting for time where he's gonna pay for himself. I've used him in the tournaments. He flaps every single time I'm using him. Like he cannot do a single wound, for example, against Dart of Tribesmen. Just like he does 0 against them. So that was a mistake. I think that he didn't position well those ambushers. I think his mistake was related on charging the Feldrex with them. They're a scoring unit, so why waste them? And he should be throwing stuff at the Feldrex, make them combat them. The mistake was charging and not buffing enough of those gargoyles. I probably should have put my magic fully into them instead of charging them. Or deploy the Warhounds in 4x2 when I saw the gargoyles being on this side. Anything else? This combat, this should not have happened, okay? Those Warhounds should be dead from turn 1 or at least turn 2, but the way the dice worked, they stuck in there. I didn't account for the possibility that after charging with warriors, they'll stay in there. This should not happen. Alright, well, so this is the battle report. Those are the recounts of the mistakes that we did. If you think there were other mistakes that happened, leave a comment, like if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. Whether you liked it or not, you know what, just sign in there. Just support our channel. And thanks for watching. Bye.